Victim alias is another form of protection.
Sit down. Sit. She wants on my lap. That's what she wants. Okay. So it's a new, I saw the questions about, wait, didn't he already turn his phone over and stuff? Yes, he did. But this is, he went there because he had new information. Like I told you guys, that there was something that I couldn't really talk to you guys about, that Athena will not let me go like this. Watch. She won't let me. Watch. She'll probably, okay, hopefully. Maybe she'll, because she'll sit there and nudge my arm until I let her it go, or let her. Thank you, Miss Curvy. Go get Tim's downloads. Oh, Tim Mullins. Okay. So dip means that that's why Fred said, I don't understand why they, why they capped certain phones, because all they do is download them. That's what was done the last time. And that's what was done this time. The last time was what, June 15th, Fred? Well, thank you, One Love. So the reason why to hand over the phone this time, I can't talk about the specific info, because it would really, really, really put Fred in a lot of danger. But you will know soon, very soon. And remember, I told you that we were working on something, or trying to, in the background, that I couldn't talk to you guys about. That's the reason why they downloaded the data on his phone, because of that information that I was trying to tell you guys about a few weeks ago. I think some people just assumed, but the announcement must have been, that I was talking about me and Fred getting together. No, it wasn't. Really was something that he and me have been working on, but it goes along with stuff that we've talked about in the past. So it's still similar to what you guys already know, but one new thing I really want to talk about is today, while they were there, now Kathy overheard this too, and no, nothing was recorded. Lawson was who they wanted to speak to. Lawson was not there. He was at a budget meeting. Pruitt was not also there. But they talked to, there were several investigators came in. The new thing that I learned today, I guess it's a new kind of, not everybody knows that the law enforcement's not telling us any information about Summer Wells. Everybody knows that they're keeping it close to their chest. But today they used the term gag order. Hawkins County has nothing to do with Summer Wells' case anymore. This information was just, all it was is Hawkins County collected it and handed it over to TBI. They have nothing over it. Pruitt has nothing to do with the Summer Wells case at this point. He would not know anything about if Andy's cleared. Hawkins County is not who you call to ask if anybody's cleared. It's TBI. Hawkins County is not over it at all, and they're not allowed to speak anything about the Summer Wells case. That's why they're not giving people information. They're under a gag order, is what they're saying. They're under a strict gag order not to speak on the Summer Wells case. So they wouldn't give Andy any information or anybody any information about anybody being cleared, you would have to contact TBI if anybody. It's been with TBI for a while. It's just that they want people to get comfortable, you know? So no, Andy, you can't sit back and, you know, relax and think you're in the clear, because that's not what that meant. This information now didn't it is very dangerous. And one of the questions that Kathy asked the investigators is, why haven't they got Dawn and Candace in there? Like, shush, Caitlin. Hold on one second. Yeah, but he's not being brought up because Pruitt's not over the case, Karma. That's why. Of course he's going to say that. Of course he's not going to be brought up. The case, he's not taking information on Summerwell's case. It's going to TBI. So his name coming across his desk, of course it didn't, because he's not over the case. So stop, Caitlin. So Kathy asked, why haven't they got Dawn and Candace in there and Joel? And they said they're under a strict gag order. There's more that they know about this than the public knows, and they can't, and that's why. I don't know, because I think to make him comfortable. That's my theory, Karma, but who knows what the theory is? Who knows? We don't know why exactly they're doing things, but that's my theory is because they want people to think that, you know, they're comfortable, give them enough rope to hang themselves. If people, you don't want somebody to get heads up that law enforcement's looking into them. I wrote down, yeah, the gag order thing is the main thing that really stood out to me, that they use the term gag order. They're under a gag order. Is that normal? I mean, I know they say they keep information close to their chest, but is it normal for to be under a gag order for, like, at this point now, 3 years later? Is that a normal thing? If she wants me to, Sassy Cats. Yeah. Was it Prayer Garden 316 at, what is it? Prayer Garden 316 at gmail.com? Can TBI put them on a gag order? I guess, I think that's who they said that they were on. I don't know. Like, is that like a actually judge ordered thing? I'm guessing a gag order is judge ordered, right? Like, did they go and actually, that's why they use the word gag order. Hawkins County Law Enforcement, Sheriff's Office claims that they're under a gag order and they're not able to speak on the Summer Wells case. And that they're not over it, that TBI is. Trying to think what else. Yeah, and that's why I didn't record it. Well,
Okay, so I'm going to put the link to that full video in the description for those of you who are interested in watching the whole video with no interruptions. I just wanted to show you a couple clips where Ziggy was talking about the alleged gag order. You heard her say that Hawkins County is under a strict gag order, which means that they aren't supposed to say anything to the public, no exceptions. If anyone asks them a question, they should respond with a polite, "I'm sorry, but that case is an active investigation and we aren't speaking about it to protect the integrity of the investigation." Which brings us to the next clips in this video. Her and Fred want us to believe that Hawkins County broke the alleged gag order to give Fred details of certain things. I call bullshit. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. For now, thank you to my viewers. Take care.
But to the public, it's going to look like Lawson. And so, yeah, it's in his best interest to get it solved. Who has a camera? They said, do you want me to say it? They told, they were asking about the camera footage too. They wanted to know who had the camera footage, and guess who they said had it? Guess who they said had it, guys? This is another thing too that pisses me off. Jeff Everly. Jamie. Anyways, yeah, and Fry does not agree with snitching on people when it comes to drugs or that kind of stuff. But when it's a missing child, it's very different. Yep, Pruitt and TBI. Pruitt has is what they told him today. Pruitt has the video footage of June 15th. That's what they told him. Pruitt and TBI has it. So if Pruitt has it, so has he freaking looked at it? But see, he's not going to think anything about Andy being on that road because Andy lives on that road. And remember, Andy didn't even have a chance to ask, or didn't even just decided not to ask if he was on that road that day. Like, for some reason, he didn't ask that. That's all we wanted to know. But they said Pruitt is over the surveillance video. I wish freaking law enforcement would take this sighting like more seriously. You know what I mean? Look into, like they need to start getting pressuring people. You guys, we are just as frustrated as you. You would think, why aren't they pressuring? You would think that they hear the stuff going on YouTube, and you would think they hear the debate between whether Andy was on the road or not. Why aren't they trying to look into that more? Why is that not a thing?
See, it makes you wonder how much information that Hawkins County has turned into TBI and stuff too. Because just like when they did my phone and stuff, they wouldn't even let it go onto Pruitt's desk because they said a lot of information that was going to Pruitt's desk wasn't being turned into TBI. That's why they overrode Pruitt when I took and had my phone dipped and stuff and sent straight to the headquarters. They even spoke about that.
Oh my God.
Hawkins County messed the case up when within a weekend too, or less than a week, really.
They were so that the Hawkins County messed
when
up
they bought that alcohol and stuff. Had them.
Oh my!
Them two officers bought that alcohol on the last day I reported. They tried to get me to take it to John and Candace, and I wasn't. And they took it.
Yeah, law enforcement tried to get.
I went in to record.
Law enforcement tried to get Fred to take them alcohol.
But
yeah, this is.
Officers did purchase alcohol and hand it to Don and Candace 45 minutes before I recorded the last day.
Yeah, and a couple officers did get them alcohol and they got in trouble.
That's why certain officers wasn't allowed back on round.
Yeah, let's not mention them, but certain officers weren't allowed to come back to
And that's some of the gag order that went in effect, I think.
Yeah, Fred believes that's why about something the gag order, because there's a big issue with that alcohol that was purchased. That's where they screwed up big time, because they purchased alcohol for the wells, and I guess that screwed a lot of fucking shit up.
They thought if they got them high, that they just lips get lit.
About a month ago, during one of Ziggy's live streams, someone in chat asked Fred, who was in the chat and had been answering others people's questions, a question. Instead of waiting for Fred to answer, Ziggy proceeded to answer the question for him.
Yeah, and that's what's scary, Lori, is it is something bigger, you know. It would be way, if it was just an accident cover up, then that means, okay, that's going to be way less dangerous, because we're just going to be dealing with a few people who were scared and covered it up because they're afraid of getting in trouble, right? But I don't think that's what we're dealing with, unfortunately, or fortunately. I don't know how you want to look at it. Andy was on camera at 3:47 timestamp. Black SUV was at Donnie Chambers. Oh, okay. 2 motorcycles. I don't know what you mean. There was the one motorcycle or whatever, moped motorcycle or whatever. But it was off by, so there was somebody broken down at the side of the road, but it was off of on Beach Creek, not really. It was further down. It wasn't near like Ben Hill. Fred didn't think it could be really related. He helped that person. He put the bike in the back of his truck. PG was saying the junkyard didn't close till 5. Oh, wow. She just is such a genius and knows everything. I don't know. Either way, Fred did not make it. And the reason why he did not make it is because he was on his way to go there. And then here comes Andy. And he had to let Andy by. And he had to unhook the trailer to let Andy by. And by the time that he got hooked back up and stuff, he was already running behind, already running late to get to the scrapyard. And then, when Andy came and Fred had to unhook, then he couldn't make it. So that's how he knows for a fact that he saw Andy on the road. I mean, and plus, because he talked to law enforcement about it. They have Andy on trail cameras and surveillance. Not just Andy, they asked about several people, like, who's this person, who's that person, who's this person. But Andy's the only one denying that he was on the road when he actually was.
Pay attention to Ziggy's response when she notices what Fred has said in chat.
They have Andy on trail cameras and surveillance. Not just Andy, they asked about several people, like who's this person, who's that person, who's this person. But Andy's the only one denying that he was on the road when he actually was, for some odd reason, allegedly. I held one to town and dropped it off, but I picked up one on the way back home to work on for someone, and they was held on. Oh yeah, that's right. But you never went to the scrap yard. Her theory has so many people, there's no way they would be all able to keep quiet this long, or
Oh, so you remember that, huh, Ziggy? I think that in fact you were surprised when you realized what Fred had said in chat, and you were just covering for that by saying, oh yeah, I remember that. Let's take a listen to something from Ziggy's talk with Fred Hill on June 17, 2022. There are two clips and they are both from the same video. I will put the link to the videos in the description.
Right on the corner, they sit crossways right again that bank right there. 3 days before she went missing. The devices under her house with recordings and stuff, and she.
When he was found on coke or something?
I believe it was. He was just. I
Crack
believe he was trying to drive her crazy or something other myself. Figured she'd move out or something. He would have it, I'd say. I had my thoughts, you know.
Yeah.
But that's for him, Candace, I believe, got together. I said probably 10 times the whole time they lived down there up till Summer went missing, and even the night she went missing, he was here. And the law down there, I mean, within, well, I come in that night, I can't think exactly what time I come in, because I was going to haul cars that day, and then they closed before I could get anything hauled. And then I was going to go to a grocery store, and then I ran on the man out and here in Sullivan. He broke down on a motorcycle, and I told him, he asked if I could get hold of somebody to come get it, you know, haul it in for him. And I told him, I said, well, I got a trailer, so I come back and got a trailer here. And went out for him the same day Summer went missing. And
was it?
I didn't see nothing in down the holler down there during the times that they allowed she went missing.
You don't know what?
I can't. 3 days before she went missing, there's a white HHR set straight across from that building on the highway down there, where you go around Simpson Loop, right there, right on the corner. They've set crossways right. When she went missing, I mean, within, when I come in about 7 o'clock that evening, she done the law, everything. Well, I'd probably come in about 8.
But you had already been in.
The whole holler shut down, you know.
You had already been in earlier that day, though, right? You were already in earlier that day, right? That's just when you came.
I've been here all day up to about, I don't know, probably about 5:30 or something. And that's when I went out. And then I come back in and got my trailer to haul that motorcycle. So that probably put it around 6:30 or something over. Between 6 and 6:30.
So right before she.
I didn't see nothing, nobody right there.
Right when she was.
Nothing. At that time, you know. But when I come back in from the grocery store and taking that motorcycle, I ended up with another motorcycle on trailer coming back with it, which is sitting out there. But What was I trying to say? My mind went blank for a second.
You were saying how you went out when it was like just when you came back in at 7. You were about to say something about when you came back in at 7,
Yeah.
and I'd asked you.
I think exactly.
You got grabbed the trailer and motorcycle.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how I want to say it here, you know.
Oh, why? Something.
I don't want to word it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know if there was something you weren't supposed to say.
I come in, say I come in at 8 o'clock, well, the hall shut down. Well, I come on up here, and then I actually walk back down there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is weird because just like within hours of admission, like Andy's daughter, the one that he's supposed to told that he seen her body, see, I was brought up that day, and he
Story keeps changing.
Why would he lie?
Well, that's a $1 million question, isn't it?
Hey y'all. So, evidently Fred has moved to Indiana to live with Ziggy. And once they were together, they wasted no time in turning the talk to Summer Wells, which isn't really that big of a surprise, is it? And in this story, or in this clip I'm about to show you, she did it over on her Empress Ziggy channel. And I feel like Ziggy does that sometimes to, when she talks about certain things, to feel out what whoever's in the chat at that moment, what the reaction may be. Fred never disappoints. It's quite the story. And I say story because I don't believe it, not for 1 second. You can tell me what you think in the comments. And yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. He said that we'll have something in a day or two when we go over some stuff over about Summer. We were just talking about Summer and how he was wanting to do, and this is quite the task, because these people like Killer Looks, for example, who make these uploads and find all this stuff and put it together, that takes forever. I mean, he probably by now has people that help him, like probably, sometimes helps him send him stuff. Like I do have, some people sometimes will help me, like send me stuff, or make my intro or whatever, but getting started, doing that stuff, I'm not used to that kind of stuff, but that's something like kind of what Fred is wanting to do and put certain things together, especially about Knoxville, I think, mainly. And we were talking about that because Pro was just saying it's just the only thing that makes sense is this Knoxville theory. Just Knoxville keeps coming up. It's just the only thing that makes freaking sense. And like he replays everything in his head over and over again constantly, and like think of it as if it were you or him and this stuff happened to you. And like I see it. I mean, I know, like there's new stuff all the time that he thinks of, or he's lived there his whole life basically and been in that and around a lot of not very good people at times. So at a lot of times. So isn't Knoxville where Dawn goes? Yes. And it was even mentioned, like he wants to put together like where Jody Sue was even mentioning Knoxville before Fred had or anything had ever come up about Knoxville, And then we had this like Lady of the Night call, which who knows is that shit's bullshit or not, but man, it seems like very like
Well, it lines up with what I had
yeah,
dinners to do, you know.
yeah. Like the situation where Fred like that, and that's a whole other thing we haven't even talked about that they don't even really know about.
Oh, no.
So yeah, there's a lot to tell you guys about because you guys don't know like the details of why Fred went to Hawkins County and turned in his phone and stuff. He wasn't asked to like. I mean, he was asked to then after given the information, but he went on his own free will. He was going there anyways, but it was something going on behind the scenes for a while because there was somebody at the Knoxville house who claimed to know Playboy and like gave a lot of details and claimed Summer Wells was in this man's home. And this was conversations that Fred, huh?
Along with 10 other children.
And along with 10 other children, one name he was bringing up is Jonathan Tate, which Jonathan Tate, like, that name's like that's more like Jonathan Tate, like.
He was the only boy there.
Yeah, that's supposedly from Kingsport or something. Yeah. I don't know. But they had many conversations in text. This guy said it was claiming like he could get like Summer a lot, like in that he claimed that he talked to Summer Wells and that she claimed that she was 9 years old and that she knew her daddy, like her dad traded her or something like that, right?
He had to give her up for the drug debt.
Yeah, this is what this guy was claiming. Like it lined up with everything from this call. And this happened over a long period of time. And so, like, because this guy was in the house with Fred, and like Fred didn't know what to do. This guy claimed he was affiliated with the Vice Lords, and that his father was killed. But this man claimed his father was killed by Playboys because of Playboy, yeah. And so he kind of he didn't really care anyways, and he said that the Vice Lords really aren't really cool with kids stuff anyways. So like I think he like validated it in his mind. It sounded like because it like why he was being like a snitch or whatever. It was he was claiming that his dad was killed by Playboy or something to do with Playboy because of Playboy or something like that. And that he didn't like that Playboy was like into children, crimes to do with children and making money off children. Like, and supposedly that it's not like the actual gang that's affiliated. It's just this particular person that I don't think that I mean, this is what this guy is saying, okay?
It's all on.
Yeah, it's all recorded. Yeah, and so he was claiming that he was gonna get some, like actually, like oh my gosh, like one time, oh, there's so much. One time he claimed that he was actually with Summer Wells, right?
Yeah, he was with them all while they.
Yeah, he claimed to be at Playboy's while he was on the like phone with Fred, right? Yeah. And he was like, what do I do? What do I do? The guy's like, I'm here right now and she's here. Like, seriously. And Fred's like, what? Like, what the fuck? Where are you? You know, like, this kid was claiming he was right there and saw Summer Wells, and then he's at Playboy's and he's right there and he's calling Fred being like, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. And like, Fred's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. It's like, what's the address?
It's a dangerous game.
Yeah.
Because the kids could be in a lot of state, you know?
Yeah. So it's like, do you believe this dude or what? But it's like, he never really gave up a specific address.
No, but we went over maps and stuff at Hawkins County when I took and had my phone dipped and stuff.
Yeah.
And we went over lots of maps and certain motels and stuff that the kids were supposed to be in.
Yeah, there was
But
supposedly.
the next week was when they sent those special tactics in from Texas and everywhere to Knoxville and made that stings.
Yeah. So we have so many cool, like, interesting things to talk to you guys about. You guys are gonna be so like freaking interested in hearing this stuff. A lot of this stuff, what is it? It's up to you guys for interpretation to decide, like, if what you think, if it's bullshit or not, because I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I've seen so many freaking people make up so many stories when it comes to Summer Wells and this case. Like, I don't know who to trust, what to believe, and it seems like there's a lot of people doing that shit on purpose. So that's why people are doing this confusion, is because it works very well. And so, but it does seem like the whole saying goes, when there's smoke there's fire. There's a lot of smoke at Knoxville. It just keeps pointing Knoxville.
Coincidence of the one that was doing inside work for him being a Smith,
Oh yeah, and guess what? Yeah, that's another thing. Guess what the guy's last name was? That was given. That's something that we just realized like a couple of days ago.
I realized it a long time.
Oh, you did know? You did think of it a long time ago. I mean, you knew his last name was Smith, but you didn't. You even thought of the possible connection. So now he wonders, is he related to the Smiths on Ben Hill and whatever? I don't know. But that's such a common last name. Who's to know? So yeah, this guy, he seemed all cool about helping with law enforcement and everything with Summer Wells, didn't he? He seemed like he was all in, and he claimed he didn't want any of the money or anything, or no.
Yeah, he wanted.
He wanted the money.
That's what got him kind of talking more about it,
Yeah, because we weren't interested in the money. Fred's like, well, I'm not interested in the money. You could have the money, right? And but so the money thing was a factor. But it's so weird. Like, he actually called one time and it's like claiming he was there with Summer Wells, and like, I don't know. So what do you do? Is it bullshit or what? But I mean, the only smart thing to do is turn it in no matter what. Just like people want to talk shit about the bones and stuff, and act like that was a whole joke. It was not a joke. Yeah. At all. Like, I don't know if somebody played a joke, but it was not Fred playing a joke on me. Okay. Because
was found, it was like 75 yards from John Smith's deck.
Yeah.
Too. See.
Mm-hmm. On a property that was not really.
It was just across the property line.
Yeah, it was pretty much vacant at the time. But what are you going to do? Like, people talk shit about that. Like, what do we do? Oh, chicken bones, or, they like nickname me Bones and stuff. It's like, what do you do? Like, so you're talking shit because I called law enforcement about that? Like, what would you guys do? Would you call law enforcement or not? If that's it, because how it happened is how exactly me and Fred tell you guys over and over again. We could tell you the story 5 million times. It's going to have the same freaking details.
Well, first of all,
So there you have it, folks. I mean, where do I start? Let's see. Let's start with, why does Knoxville keep coming up? Maybe because you keep bringing it up, Ziggy, with what was probably one of your buddies calling in to do the Lady of the Night call. I mean, we all know that wouldn't have been the first time that you had a friend call in and pretend to be somebody that they weren't. Like somebody that knew the boys, or their kids were friends with the Wells boys in their foster home. The mom of the kid or whatever that was friends with the Wells boy. Yeah, that was you, Ziggy. How did Ziggy start her channel? By bringing out fake CPS reports. That's where a lot of the information got out that the boys were abused, is because of that fake CPS report. Nothing else was ever shown evidential wise. I know their house was dirty. Well, that doesn't mean you beat your kids. Sorry. Siggy has done a lot of lies. And Fred, he is just one big lie. He's always pointing the finger at somebody. I call that deflecting. I don't know what y'all call it. Why though? Is it just to help wifey keep her YouTube channel going, or is it more? That's what I want to know. And Fred, somebody calls you and says, "Oh, I'm in the room with Summer Wells. You didn't know what to do." Why would the guy call you, Fred? Come on. Maybe you should have said snap a picture of her. And do you have any proof that this interaction even happened between you and this guy, Fred? This guy named John Smith. Yeah, you're right, Ziggy. That is an awful common name. Anyway, I'm going to let y'all see what you think about it. Let me know in the comments below. I, for one, am convinced that Fred Hill is nothing but a fucking liar. I just don't know why. And now I see that Ziggy's not just playing dumb. She knows he's lying. She's going right along with it. Yeah, she's a greedy bitch. Sorry. Anything to keep the old YouTube channel going, right, Zig? Disgusting. Both of you. Anyway, thanks to my viewers. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joanne Lingerie, and you're listening.
Hey, everybody. So, of course, there's not going to be anybody here yet because I am a new broadcaster and I have definitely never gone live before, not on YouTube. I have gone live several times, like on Periscope, but unfortunately, they closed that app down in March. And so I haven't had like an outlet to speak my mind on things. And sometimes when we're in other people's broadcasts here on YouTube, if you don't have their opinion, then they don't want to hear, anything about where you're coming from. So, for example, like, oh gosh, I don't even know if I want to get into other creators and ones I've had issues with here on this app, as far as, with my opinion and whatnot. But maybe if I give this a minute or two, maybe some people will start coming in, especially since this is a stream about Summer Wells. And I'm just curious. I just want to talk to people with, similar interest, which include this case, their opinions, and I would like for some people to come up and, speak with me so we could talk about this. And I'm not going to get mad, whatever your opinion is. I mean, I might not have the same, but I'm going to check the YouTube app and see if I can tell if this is working. Okay. Well, it shows somebody on. Oh, that's probably me, but no, I didn't open it up. But if you can hear me, can you let me know? I'm not exactly sure what it has. My thumbnail picture of like the ocean, but it didn't it didn't ask me what I wanted to put a picture as, so I didn't change it. The only thing I saw what to do is to add a picture of myself. But yeah, let me see here. Is to add. Whoa. Okay, so I just went into the app to see. But yeah, if you're here, if you could say something in chat, just to let me know. But, you know, it feels like, you know, I went from everybody's theories being that there was an accident. Or actually, you know, I remember when all the blame was on Candace. And, you know, I have been watching this case from the beginning, and I actually follow AB and Tiffany and a bunch of others I have watched, like everybody. And I've watched this from the beginning. And I even remember a time, it's funny now because everybody wants to put all the blame on Don, and I'm right there with him because I think that he's an idiot. But you know, I remember a time when AB had actually changed his tune for a little bit, and he was kind of defending Don a little bit. And I was like bummed about that, but that didn't last very long. So yeah. So what do we think? Like, what do you guys think that has happened? I mean, do we think it was an accident? I mean, it seems like everybody there for a while was gunning for this accident theory. And it recently changed. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of a specific moment. I think maybe when that hoax call happened, but with when they called Mary and said, oh, Donnie had been arrested and stuff like that. Now, I think that, you know, do you guys think that they're putting all these things out there to like confuse people, so people are like, okay, what can we believe? What can we not believe that we hear on this case? I mean, you know, like, you know, is it true about this cartel thing, or Don owing money, or what? Like, I wonder if this is like something being done on purpose to kind of like keep people guessing so that nobody knows what to believe. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so I don't know. I mean, it is kind of a good tactic, I guess, on their end, if they're smart enough to even, I don't know. Some people think, oh, they're way smarter than you think. Let's see. Let's pull up this audio here. It was recently. If you guys had heard of those advocates, they were supposed to, Don called them private investigators, but they weren't really private investigators, come to find out. They're just I don't even know if they're a nonprofit or if they're just I don't know, but they're just a group of people that help those with missing people in their family or whatever. So anyways, let's, is this let me check to see if this is the audio, but no, this isn't it. I know that AB just put it on his I'm forgetting the link, but J.R.'s for Justice had the link to that. All right. Well, I guess I don't know. Usually AB does include the the links to trying to find this link to see if we can listen to. Okay, here. Let's just play it through AB. I'm sure he won't mind.
Welcome, friends. Breaking news. You know, he just wouldn't do it until like 9, and I was scared he was going to get drunk. And I didn't want him on the show drunk, so I had to keep calling him like every 15 minutes and making up shit reasons why I was calling him so I could make sure he was sober. Right. Oh, Lord. Us Southern people can be drunk and not really even sound drunk. You know that? Yeah. Listen, I don't even know how they ended up doing that call the other day when they called his sister, because we had just talked to them, and I sat down, we hung up, and they were drinking when we talked to them. But, but for them to get drunk enough to make that call with his sister, they called me at 12:30, and they were cracking the fuck up. They were so proud of themselves. I said, I feel like I just left the kids home alone. And they got into my liquor cabinet. They were smashed when they called me back. And they were just so proud of themselves. And then they were asking me, what can we call them back and say next? I was like, I'm not getting involved in this shit. You fucking people are crazy. I'm not telling you. You're calling the person that's getting you arrested for sexual abuse. She filed charges on you for sexual abuse. And you want me to give you a statement that you can say to her? You just told her that first they said that the freaking mafia came and got them or whatever, the Mexican mafia, and then they told them that the cops were beating them up. All in the same phone call. And they said that it was for $80,000, and then they said it was for freaking charging the Capitol building in fucking January. And I'm like, you guys don't make sense. Why did they take them to fucking Boston? They better be careful accusing the Mexican mafia because they will kill them. Well, I hope nobody kills them because I want to know where Summer is, and if Dawn's dead, I don't think we're going to find out. Right, yeah. Yeah. Look at Tom.
So what does everybody think about that? Let me see here if there's a way to, trying to figure out how to post a link here where I want people to be able to join here and, so we can talk about this case. And so anyways, that's further confirmation that obviously that call was a bunch of bullshit that they made to Mary. And it does say a lot, I do agree with others about that it says a lot about them. Like if $50,000 out, because you don't know me from Adam, so it made me sick to my stomach. I'm nervous, and I won't probably be looking at chat while I'm going over what she shared because it will get me distracted. I might share a few things and then go to chat, and then if I have time and I wanted to go over. I don't know if you guys saw. It's Sweetie Pie Low. She shared the medium readings by Reverend Donna Serafina. Absolutely amazing medium. I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in that stuff, but wow, this lady's the real deal. And I wanted to show a few clips from that if we have time. It matters how much time it takes to get through this information. There's going to be a few things that are like, wow, okay. To me, I know maybe not so much to you guys, but to me it was because I know this person is the real deal. But you guys just, you just have to basically have faith in me that I'm being honest, because there are a lot of people that spread misinformation just to get views and whatever. But yeah, Melissa, this lady so bad wants people to know this information, but she doesn't know how without getting herself wrapped up into some situations. She spent a lot of time, and money and education to be able to get to where she is, and it's eating at her. She wants to be able to talk to people with it and get it off her chest. And I'm sure she can with people in her field or whatever. But, I don't know to what extent. So Hey, everybody. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Melissa, April, and Ladybug. I appreciate you guys so much. And I appreciate you guys having faith in me that I am, being honest. And you're just going to have to take me for my word. That's all I can say. There's just no more proof that I can give than beyond that. And I just got very lucky. She claims I'm the only person that she has mentioned anything to. It took some time for her to open up, but she was, she did. It took a little while for her to tell me just about the drug screens, which, I've seen other channels mention they had crack cocaine in their system and that, but I didn't hear the meth thing with Dawn. And, I think a lot of us assume that Dawn and Candace didn't really pass I think they're taking their inconclusive test as a pass. I mean, because, hey, it's not a fail. I mean, it's better, but they were inconclusive on the guilty knowledge part of the test, if for those of you that didn't know. And okay, so let's get started. I'm not going to look at chat. Actually, I'm going to move it away from the screen. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, it made me so sick to my stomach because I was like, I didn't know. I don't ever want to get anybody in any trouble or not, or have them, it takes many years to be able to get to the point to have a good profession going, and a lot of time and money, and I just would never want to ruin that for somebody. And also, I don't know if it's that or if I'm worried about that, I think, but I don't know exactly. I don't know if it's the information. A lot of this stuff is stuff I already assumed, but it was shocking to the specifics you're not going to hear before. So you might know, just like you probably assume that they did fail their lie detector test or there were some issues with that, but you probably didn't know that it was for the guilty knowledge part of the test. You know what I mean? So I'm going to remove the comments for a second and then I'll pull them back up because I just get distracted. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here. Okay, so we're going to go over the first thing. Let me make sure you guys, I am going to can you hear me okay? Am I speaking loud enough? I know I'm kind of like speaking well, my heart is beating so fast. Okay. First of all, for anybody who was curious, I just messaged her because I wanted to know, I know I've been asked a few times and I've heard people wondering how old the boys are. So she says the boys are 12, 11, and 9. So if that is true, if anybody knows that to be true, then I guess that's confirmation that, she's the real deal. I don't know that to be true. I do know the oldest boy is 12. And I remember that just because that's very close to my daughter's age. I was thinking that the two youngest were a little bit, I didn't know one was just a year behind the 12. But anyways, that's not the pertinent information. Okay, yeah, thanks, Riley. I'm going to remove the chat now. Okay. So I guess there's different categories and stuff. This has a lot to do with the CPS situation with Dawn and Candace. And I guess there's different categories or something. I don't know if anybody can confirm this or whatever. I haven't had any time to look up to verify this information, but she speaks like she knows what she's talking about. Her language and the words she used, she sounds educated and she sounds like she knows what she's talking about. Shoot, I didn't want to even say she. I was going to say they, but there I go, Ari. So anyways, she started with the neglect category, which includes these subcategories of environmental neglect, nutritional neglect, medical neglect, educational neglect, and lack of supervision. Okay. So she first mentions there were several of the categories that the boys had been found to fall in. The first one was under the neglect category. Under the neglect category is where, she says environmental neglect speaks for itself. I guess from what we see from the house, being a deplorable condition without the adequate beds, there wasn't clean bedding, and the mattresses were soiled. So we've seen that environmental neglect. We saw that from what we've seen ourselves. That's what's. So nutritional neglect. The boys were not provided healthy meals at a minimum of three times a day. So they weren't given adequate nutrition. Probably something we already assumed. I mean, come on. None of us no meals or any type of food was mentioned the day Summer went missing, except a slushie, right? And maybe a Fanta or whatever, that orange drink or whatever it was, and Skittles. So as far as, here's where it gets a little shocking. The medical neglect. There was no dental care. They had no dental records. Well, she said, I shouldn't say there was no dental records. All I was told was dental care was not provided. So I don't know if that's like I guess she didn't have any records of that. And I would assume that, and this is what I mentioned to her. I said, I'm surprised because surely they qualify for Medicaid, right? I mean, even though Candace and Don are married, I mean, they still would qualify for Medicaid for at least, at the very minimum, health insurance for those boys. Maybe not food stamps and stuff, but definitely Medicaid and insurance. So there's no excuse for that. And dental is always provided for kids that are under 18, okay? For adults, it's not always provided. It depends what state you're in, but for kids, yeah. So they were not going to the doctor. They never went to the doctor. They were lice infested, and we're talking they had body lice. I didn't even know there was such a thing, okay? So they weren't given any type of, they were considered neglectful because they did not take them to the doctor for a body lice. Also, so she said that was ×4. So all of them, Summer and the 3 boys, all had body lice. And also Candace, guys. Candace had body lice. Scabies. She didn't tell me how many had scabies, but at least one of them had scabies and was not given proper doctor or medical care for that. I didn't even know I don't even know really what scabies was. I did look it up after she mentioned it because I figured, I started to ask her, I'm like, what is that exactly? And I also asked her what body lice was. I was like, is that crabs? No, it's different, because I was like, oh my God, like, is that like an STD, like passed on to the boys? But I guess body lice is not crabs, it's different. And the scabies, it looked like, from when I, looked up, it looked like some type of rash, some type of mite or parasite that crawls underneath your skin, and just horrible. So the next subcategory under the neglect category was educational neglect. So they missed school an abnormal amount of days. The number of assignments and homework was never turned in by the boys. The lack of IEP for all 3 boys. So they should have IEP. I guess that's a educational plan where you get special, like the kid gets special kind of, I don't know what the right word is, not privileges, kind of privileges. That's the only thing I can think of a word to use, where they get like extra time for tests or whatever, depending on. So she says that all have some type of special needs. So all 3 boys have special needs, and we're not set up with IEPs. So also under the neglect category, lack of supervision. They were being left alone for up to 6 hours a day. And you got to remember too, that's something I brought up to her. I'm like, because I have a daughter who's, I started letting stay at home for an hour or 2 or whatever while I go to my office, and she's 13. And so I don't think it's really weird, but then I remembered they don't have a phone there. What if something would happen? And 3 boys together at that age are, they could come up with some things to, get in trouble easily. And you can't tell me you're going to just stay in that house and not go out and wander around. But yeah, and then she mentions the body lice Candace had also. That's crazy. Okay, so that was the first category. I'll move on to the next category will be the physical abuse category, with subcategories of physical abuse. And then the second subcategory is drug exposed child. I'll look at the chat just for a second here. Yeah, special needs plan. So yeah. Summer at the dentist, I wonder how long ago. It was weird because I look at older pictures of Summer, and she seemed dressed better and just taken care of more and stuff. And then but her teeth like were rotted out in the front. So it's obvious that there was no any type of dental. I'm just going by what I was told. So I'm not saying, I don't know. She probably did go to the, I don't know. They modify the work for them. Oh yeah, modifications. Okay. So I'll go on since there's not any like comments really, not many. So the next category, the physical abuse category. All 3 boys were physically abused by Dawn and Candace. They were kicked, punched, their hair was pulled, they were beaten with objects such as belts, shoes, and other items. That gives me chills, guys. That makes me really uncomfortable. I haven't read through this since when she first told me. So, yeah. So, once again, the boys were all physically abused by Dawn and Candace, by being kicked, punched, their hair being pulled. They were beaten with belts, shoes, and other items. Before I go on to the drug exposed part, I don't know how she didn't elaborate how CPS knows this. I do know the boys are, well, maybe I can mention that when I get to the part where she mentions it, but I have a feeling the boys are talking. But they have been under investigation for a while, and before the summer Wells being whatever happened with her, which that makes you think if CVS was so involved at the time and they knew that CPS, did I say CVS? CVS is one of my favorite places, but when it's CVS, if it was closing on, it really makes me think that it makes me really believe that they were scared that sexual abuse would become known, and they had to find something to do with Summer. So under the physical abuse category, under the subcategory of a drug exposed child, all 3 boys were exposed to drugs, meaning that they were in the presence of their parents while they used drugs. Which I'm sure that's something that we already assumed. So the next category is called psychological harm. And the subcategory is just psychological harm. I guess there's just one subcategory under that, or either that, or that's the only. I don't know if there's other subcategories that she didn't mention, and maybe she just mentioned the parts that they were concerning, but there was only one here. So she says that all boys were emotionally and psychologically harmed with words, threats, and yelling up to several times a day. See, another thing that I think we probably already. So, in the last year, there has been a total of 7 abuse claims. So, all these people were saying that weren't there people that called in CPS and, made them aware? There were. And I think that according to her, 7 times in the last year, there was a total of 7 abuse claims. And I think so CPS was involved and people were calling in. And I think that just backs up the possibility that maybe that's what Summer's disappearance was due to something like that, because of, I just believe that. So she says there have been years of child abuse. There is no truth to Dawn's lies that the boys were removed because of internet threats. She said, huge lie. They were removed under priority 1, which means that the children were in imminent danger. So any of you guys who have worked for CPS, I've never heard of priority 1, but that is why they were categorized to be in imminent danger. There is a gag order, she says, and that Dawn is breaking it, and that there is an upcoming emergency hearing over that because of Dawn continually speaking on things he's not supposed to, I guess. Oh, here's the shocker. You guys ready for it? Let me look at the hi, Benny.
I don't know. Benny doesn't bother me really, guys. I mean, I don't agree with anything he really says or does, but I don't care who's in the chat. It doesn't. So he's fine. And Summer's teeth, the dentist friend that he said she had no enamel left in a rotten tooth, and he said it looked like she never brushed her teeth. Okay, so I'll remove the comments again so I can continue without distraction. Oh my God, you guys ready for this one? This was the most shocking one to me, I think. Candace is being investigated for a relationship with Hunter. Okay, and that's not all. It gets a little bit. It's elaborated on a little bit. Okay, but Candace is being investigated for a relationship with Hunter. Okay, guys, Candace was 100% involved with Hunter in a sexual manner. And CPS knows this. Okay. She says Candace was 100% involved with Hunter in a sexual manner. Currently, Candace is under investigation with, I guess she called it DCS. I guess that means Department of Child Services. We call it CPS up here. And once they finish their investigation, they will be turning everything over to law enforcement. So later on, I asked her, so how hasn't Dawn and Candace been charged with anything? They know that there's sexual abuse with it'd be sexual abuse, right? Because Hunter's under 18 or whatever. And Candace is 39. How is she not being charged with some type of, well, they're not done with their investigation. They're still investigating things, and they're going to be. You guys, they will be charged with all this stuff. There's nothing, this is stuff that they already, obviously already know about. CPS obviously knows about it. So me speaking on it doesn't change anything. They're going to Candace is going to be arrested for messing with a kid who I don't know when it started. She didn't elaborate, but she did say 100% they were in a sexual relationship. And she goes further. She says Candace was sexually involved with Hunter even while the kids were around. The kids weren't involved sexually with the whole thing, but the boys witnessed it. Okay. Meaning they were in another room or, around Candace and Hunter. Well, out in public. I don't know what that means. She says the outings at the swim holes is noted. So I don't know what she really meant by that, but she said the outings at the swim holes is noted. I'm saying exactly how she put it. She said, okay, I'll read that. Candace was sexually involved with Hunter even while the kids were around indirectly. Meaning they were in another room or away from Candace and Hunter while out in public. The outings at the swim holes is noted. And listen to this. Candace was, or I'm sure probably not anymore because she's probably scared out of her mind, was harassing Hunter's girlfriend, who is also underage. And then she goes on to state that Candace is equally as dangerous as Dawn. So it sounds like, which I've heard before, that Candace was harassing or Hunter's girlfriend, which just kind of shows me that it was some kind of weird jealousy. Candace jealous of Hunter's girlfriend. Just because Hunter and them say, when Chris McDonough asked about, are you guys, in a relationship? She's like, I have a girlfriend. That doesn't matter. Come on. It does not matter. He's 14 and he's going to do, he's at that age. He's going to do whatever's offered to him, whoever's offered to him. He's just at that age and he's, So let me see if you guys say anything. Yeah, it's not a relationship. But they're, that's just the word she used. It is a pedo. What the hell? And it's no wonder they were on the outs. Jessica, can you, like, when I'm done, maybe just like rewind and stuff, where I explain it's the same place I got the info about the drug screens and the lie detector test. Because I know, like I mentioned before, you can't, and I'm not asking you, I mean, because I know, you can't believe everything everybody says on here, just like how we all thought Don was arrested. I think more people than not really thought he was. So I'm just saying, yeah, I cannot give any proof. I will not, I mean, I would have to be tortured to give up this person. It would ruin them. I just can't. But I explained it more in the beginning. Yeah, Melinda, I don't know. I will tell you this. I can assume her profession. Well, I guess I know what profession hers is, but I don't, and I kind of wish actually, I do wish I didn't mention her, or because that narrows it down by 50%. Now we know everybody knows the person's a her that's giving me this information. Yeah, I never would. I would have to be like, I would never do that because I'm too sensitive of a person. I'm an adult student. Okay. I finally almost got my bachelor's and I spent so many money and the profession that she's in. Oh my God. It takes a lot of schooling and stuff. She wants people to know, but she doesn't want to. It's like eating her up inside. She wants it. She's like, I just wish I could get this information out without it, jeopardizing me or. Okay. Then she mentions this situation's so deep. Don is only in the church due to community service. He's not religious at all, like he claims. There are teenage girls that Don was creeping around, but there is not enough evidence for the law enforcement to do anything about that. Okay, so there's a little bit more information here. I can't remember if there's any more bombshells, but she mentions that the boys have an advocate that they speak with, and they have gotten really close to her. They were terrified of their parents, and for a while they were terrified to speak about anything. It took them a while to be able to, because I did ask her, I'm like, like I said, I think I mentioned, like, how do they know this information? Is this reports? Like, because she's speaking like it's true, all of it. Like, so I wanted to know how they know for truth, like, for true. I mean, you know what I mean? But I guess the boys have finally connected and been able to, speak and feel comfortable. She mentions that it upsets her that people keep saying that the parents should have been picked up by law enforcement if they were going to arrest the parents, if they should have been picked up by now. She said this is like so far from the truth. She said the investigation is so complicated because of the information that law enforcement is dealing with. And then she mentions that she has Dawn's alias written down because Dawn had an alias. And actually, after her telling me this, I looked up the name of Dawn's alias that she told me, and I saw it was already released on another channel. She says that nobody still knows what happened to Summer, and that law enforcement is working so hard. But that Dawn's alias was let's see here, a John Wesley Miller. She said the boys are doing amazing in their foster homes. Like I said before, the two youngest boys are together and the oldest boy's in a separate foster home. I was confused because she mentions that earlier mentioned that nobody in the family would take the boys, but then she mentioned that none of the family was qualified to take the boys. So I don't know. that was a little bit of a discrepancy there. I don't know. She said that nobody in the church would take him also. I guess some people in the church were asked. She said that, because I asked her here, I said, one question I have is why haven't Dawn and Candace been charged with neglect due to these findings? And then I said, or is it still on the works? She said, yes, she's saying yes, that it's still in the works, and that other charges are coming concerning the boys. She said, remember, I said they are in juvenile and family court. It will be sealed for the moment, and there is a gag order with the family. She says that Dawn and Candace are in a boatload of trouble. And then she mentions that because I asked her, I go, do you know, she said that the alias was used in Texas, and I said, oh, was it, I said, I can't imagine him being able to get away with an alias in these time of days, you know? And I said, it must have been from a long time ago, right? And she said, yes. And there is a video, somebody, True Crime Cindy has a video up. It was from a very long time ago, like when he was like 18 or something. So that's what I have about that. So then, you know, they have, so the major shockers I was like, whoa, is that they have proof that there was a sexual relationship between Hunter and Candace. And that, you know, they were removed because they were in imminent danger under priority 1. There's 7 abuse claims in 1 year. There was years of child abuse. Dawn's lying about, you know, the boys getting removed because of, you know, because of this stuff with Summer and people, you know, it's not because of internet drama or people coming to the property. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's abuse. The boys were emotionally and psychologically harmed with words, threats, and yelling up to several times a day. They were exposed to drug use. All 3 boys were physically abused by Dawn and Candace. They were kicked, punched, hair pulled, beaten with objects such as belts, shoes, and other items. The boys had body lice, all 3 of them. So actually, that's probably what she meant when she put body lice times 4, because I was thinking 4, but then she later says that Candace had body lice too, so that makes sense, because I was thinking, well, maybe they found out that Summer had body. No, I think she meant the 3 boys and Candace had body lice. And then she also said that she didn't tell me how many had scabies, but I know for a fact that at least 1 had scabies. She didn't give me a number on that. They were left alone for 6 hours at a time. So that bullshit about Candace trying to act like she's Mother of the Year, watching Summer walk into the door and checking on her a couple minutes later, not true. You know, they had educational neglect. They were missing over the allotted amount of time. You know, you get so many days a semester. It varies between schools, but like my daughter's school, it's like you can miss up to 10 days per semester, and they were missing way over what they were allowed, and they weren't getting their assignments done. All the boys have special needs that weren't being met. They weren't getting any doctor's care for the lice or scabies or dental care. They weren't getting the minimum amount of 3 meals a day. And then the environmental neglect was what we all saw, as far as there was not adequate beds, meaning there was not clean bedding, and the mattresses were, I guess, disgusting and soiled. So, and then the boys are 12, 11, and 9 for those. So, yeah. Yeah.
of, I don't know, many more. We're gonna call this the scent dogs. Or maybe just Fred said. And maybe this isn't part 1, maybe this is part 7. And anyway, more to come. Let's debunk some of Fred's lies, or at least talk about them. If we can't debunk them, we're gonna at least talk about them. So let's get her done.
Man, it's just dang complicated, you know, man. It's like a dang old Rubik's Cube, man. You like talking about any blue, red, man, then you get to one side, and you like messed up the other side.
I mean, everybody puts me out like I'm so bad. And
No, you seem like a great, nice guy.
Yeah.
You
And I'm not like the rest of them. I mean, that's why they don't like me, because I'm straight up.
Is that why? Okay, your opinion.
The other guy,
You know?
did those other group come over here and talk to you?
No.
So am I?
You're the first one, other than TBI.
Well,
See, I mean, even the cadaver dogs that struck all the way up my driveway. But see, Dawn had been here.
yeah. So
Cadaver dogs that struck all the way up my driveway. But see, Dawn had been here.
yeah. So you told TBI that Don had been here that day?
Yeah. I mean, the cadaver dog, they was here when talking to me, and they come up the road, and he was hitting about the bridge right there hard. They come up the road and went all the way up to that farthest vehicle you see on top and was hitting on it. They never even opened the door, but they ain't nothing in it. I've looked. But I found some bones earlier.
I found some bones earlier. Like, what? Okay, I guess that's why Ziggy took so long to notice that Fred had said, the dogs hit all the way up my driveway. Maybe that's why it took a little bit of time to come out. I don't know, but Fred, when did that happen? Was it the 15th? Was it the 16th? I don't know. Never mind. Let's listen, and maybe it will come out. So we're going to listen to a bunch of clips about the scent dogs, and maybe we can make some sense of it. Maybe we can't, but we're going to try.
You guys, Fred was just telling me about this today. He said they had the dogs out there and everything when he pulled up. The scent dogs checked his truck when he came in before he went back there. They did not hit on his truck. Never hit on his truck.
The dogs never hit on his truck.
Okay? The scent dogs went over his truck before he even went back down to 207. The scent dogs later hit at the end of 207's driveway. So, yeah, it was, as far as hitting on Fred's truck, that is absolutely not true.
Where are you getting your information?
Well, you know, Bobby, I told time don't take from me, man. They don't life too short, man. They don't want to hold no grudge, man.
Because if they would have hit on Fred's truck, they would have hit when he came in the first time. Well, the only time when he came in, after Summer had gone missing, and all the police were out there and stuff. They already had dogs out there, and they were checking everybody's truck going in and out, or everybody's vehicles going in and out.
Now, isn't it true that you kind of pass go and skip through the barricade with your trailer June 15th?
I think that was according to Jody Sue, but don't quote me on that. Let's keep going.
So even if you didn't, let's say you stayed in line and the dogs did check your truck and they didn't hit on it. What you're saying is they had the dogs out before you got home on the 15th, and that's when they hit on your property? Well, that would be before Dawn came down and seen you later that night, correct? So therefore, what you're saying is the dogs hit on your property before Dawn got there, didn't hit on your truck, but you were home before you left. Do you not see where there's a problem here? You're pointing fingers at everybody except yourself.
Trev Time asked, I never had the chance to directly ask this, but can Fred address the rumor of the dogs coming to his property and there being a hit? Did they bring the dogs over at all, or what is the deal with that?
I mean, yes, by all means. Please do explain.
What, when they was...
That hit, what, can you explain that hit?
That was not the... I think it was 16th when the evening of the 16th.
It was the 16th?
Yes.
So then it wasn't the 15th, the day that Summer went missing in the evening. It's the 16th. Did we just need clarification on that? Did you originally say it was the 15th? Did Ziggy? I'm not sure. I don't have all those details, but I'm just playing you the clips. And we'll try and figure it out as we go.
And, and
But what the theory was, the law enforcement, they figured it was scent that where Don had been there, come off where they had come up a holler, because they could hit scent all the way up a holler and stuff, but he got stronger about the time the road got rougher, and they figured it was where the vibration off the vehicle was causing the scent to get more, where the road got rougher.
Well, I'm not really sure what to say, but let's just hear that one more time because, yeah, I'm not sure. And I'm going to add the TPE subtitles, so this is just what I hear. Hopefully it's correct. I do my best.
The theory was, the law enforcement, they figured it was scent that where Don had been there, come off where they had come up a holler, because they could hit scent all the way up a holler and stuff, but he got stronger about the time the road got rougher, and they figured it was where the vibration off the vehicle was causing the scent to get more, where the road got rougher.
No. No. I mean, no. I'm not even sure Ziggy's going to be able to understand this one, but let's see what she says.
So where was it though where was the scent? Like where was it they were hitting? It was like, what was it at the bottom of the driveway?
No, Ziggy, come on. Get your shit together. It's where the road was rougher, Don't you get it? No, neither do we. I mean, yeah.
No, it come all the way up my driveway, and it didn't go toward the camper. It went on there's a little flat, like on past the camper.
Oh, so it went in the wood, kind of off and to the right in the woods.
Yeah, he just went straight up there to that little flat.
Huh.
And see, I had a 2006 Explorer sitting up there, and they just stopped it. That's what people said, that, oh, the dog shit on that vehicle and stuff. No, I said it stopped at that vehicle.
Okay, so, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, but just one thing that I did want to talk about was, do you guys remember how everyone attacked Jody Sue for the dogs stopping at her feet? Well, did they stop at this Explorer of Fred's? Did they alert? I mean, we don't have the exact vocabulary besides what's coming from Fred, and what Fred said is not always, anyway, you know what I mean. I'm just kind of wondering though, what does it mean if something, a dog stops there? Is that an alert? Info at the top of your screen now. But Ziggy, did you not just say that that never happened? I'm pretty sure you did. And let's keep in mind that he's saying this took place on the 16th. Well, for now, that's what he's saying. We'll see. All I hear is insanity to me. And he did say hit all the way up his driveway, so there's that. It's crazy. But regardless, let's just go back a few minutes and replay this very short clip from my video that we literally just heard from Ziggy's mouth. And that's the thing, she's very adamant about these things at the time, and then when the story changes by Fred said, well, there's always a great excuse and a great reason. So here's your little reminder, and then we'll keep going. And this is from Cursed with Curiosity. Her link will be in the description.
They had the dog out there and everything when he pulled up. The scent dogs checked his truck when he came in before he went back there, and they did not hit on his truck. Dogs never hit on his truck.
Well, I guess that's going to depend on which day you're talking about and which truck, and it's going to depend if you mean hit or stopped. So, yeah, I mean, them hitting all the way up his driveway, it's a little suspicious. Doesn't mean it's him. I don't want anyone to think that I'm here blaming Fred. I mean, anyone, say like there's a kidnapper. They could have walked all over everybody's property. We don't know. So I'm not blaming anyone here. Just wanted to make that clear. Just trying to get all the clips and the facts out there. That's all. So I have to assume that she's referring to the 15th here, which is the day Summer went missing and the big line of cars, etc. So did they hit or stop on the 15th, 16th, or both?
2006 Explorer sitting up there, and they just stopped it. That's what people said, that, oh, the dog shit on that vehicle and stuff. No, I said it stopped at that vehicle. That's where they stopped, because that's where I had a vehicle parked at, and it was this little flat, and they assumed that maybe somebody had walked up there or something.
But what about the scent at the bottom of is that what people are saying about the scent at the bottom of the truck or whatever? Is that what they mean?
Yeah, that's what they was getting at. When I said it went up to a vehicle that was parked at the top, I never said it was a truck or a car or what.
Dude, I cannot. I don't even know what to say. You guys just keep spreading different stories back and forth constantly. And if you don't believe me, I will keep showing it. Let's keep going. Because this is one of many. Okay, so next they're talking about Don and when he came there, when he didn't, and that's who they're talking about.
Came to them.
Really? He came down there more than he was
there within Well, before dark on the damn 15th and talked to him.
Yeah, I know, that's weird. Yeah, so yeah, Fred's never denied that happening.
Okay, so just you, Ziggy, you denied it on his behalf? Is that what happened? I'm asking because I'm still not sure and I'm still confused.
Or that the dog sent, or her scent here, it traveled down the whole road, or I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know either, Ziggy. Make it make sense. I mean, if you can. I mean, if you can shovel that shit and make it make sense, we're listening.
See, they got sent that went onto Richard Gully's property too, driveway, but he just went so far up his driveway and then back, you know. They just hit so far up his driveway, but not as far as where his cameras was.
So,
and they hit even other places in Holler, but that could have been where certain ones had been around, you know, looking for some or something, go around or something.
Is that how it works though? Like, if Don might have had a small amount of summer scent on him, would the dogs not know the difference? I don't know, I'm actually asking. I'm really not sure. But I can tell you what I smell. I smell a little bit of bullshit here. Okay, let's check out a different video that I've used before, and this is from Lippy Clips, and the link will be in the description for this video, and it's just another video where Ziggy is talking about the scent dogs and the smells and hitting on Fred's property. Hitting, stopping, I mean, I can't remember. We're gonna listen to it and we're gonna find out. So let's find out together.
So,
it looks like, it sounds like to me. I mean, I need to get Fred's himself.
He did tell me that the dogs hit at his property and his mom's.
So girl, you did say hit, you didn't say stop, you didn't also say car. But anyway, let's keep listening for this very important information.
So he did tell me that the dogs hit at his property and his mom's.
And good on you, Lippy, for giving us a date. So the date on Ziggy's video is 1/17/2023. And we have Lippy's the next day. So there's the date, if anyone was wondering.
So that is concerning.
So at least in January of 2023, Ziggy, you were concerned. I mean, so concerned that you were getting in a relationship with him right around that time. Yeah, I mean, that says a lot about you.
So that is concerning. But at the same time, Fred told me this time that he believes that they were trying to set him up. And he said it's very possible that they were trying to put her in one of those vehicles that he was towing out.
Wow. Funny how things change, because now it's Dawn walking up and down the road and vibrations of cars or something. I'm still not quite sure I got that one down, but anyway, we can always rewind and listen to that part again. Setting him up. Okay. And they were trying to set him up and maybe put her in one of those vehicles he was towing out? Wait, did he tow any vehicles that day? I don't know, I'm so confused over that part too. Wow, you guys are in a big mess. All of it, a giant mess. Your stories don't line up.
I don't know. According to Fred, he did tell me. I mean, he didn't seem worried at all. Like, he was like, they hit on my, near the bottom of my driveway, down. So all the way to the end of Ben Hill Road, where he's seeing Andy and them come down. He's going back and forth to his mom's, which is right here, I believe.
Yes, his mom's. And then his property is right here, I believe.
I mean, I don't really have a lot of Jason, not much about the death, but some very. Are you one went to whose house? Oh, to whose house? I really don't. I don't know. I still believe Fred, because I mean, he's never been like, I don't know. He never says I don't know, or hesitates like Andy was doing.
No, he just changes his story constantly and adds all kinds of new weird things. And yeah, things can be added as people remember them. But dude, come on. This is not normal. None of this is normal. The only thing that I thought was strange, even maybe just a little bit, is that Andy couldn't remember which car he was driving that day, but maybe he has a bunch of cars. I don't know. I mean, one little weird thing shouldn't take us off into some tangent, right? It's a pattern we want to look for. A pattern of stories that are made up, or that seem made up, and the story continues to change constantly. And that's what we're seeing here. Again, and that's not just with Fred. That's with Ziggy too. No matter what he says and does, she will have his back. And sure, I guess a wife should do that for their husband, but you wouldn't catch me doing that in a missing child's case. Come on. You said it yourself, Ziggy. You were concerned, at least at this point. Yet you continued. Is it for money? Is it because you have some sort of obsession with Summer Wells? I don't know. I'm not accusing you of either. I'm not sure. I still don't get it. It makes no sense. It is literally a crazy mystery to me. I mean, I do have my thoughts and theories, but they could go either way.
Man, it dang complicated, you know, man.
What's like Andy was doing, he just really speaks like normally.
Oh, he speaks all right. And that's the problem, and that's why we have all these different concoctions of stories that don't make sense. And Ziggy, you add to it, and you make it worse for him. You make it worse for both of you. Maybe you should just stop. Stop exploiting Summer Wells, and your husband wouldn't be looked at strangely like he is now, and has been for the last, I don't know how long, ever since you walked up his driveway. And according to locals, it's been a crazy long time that he's been looked at like that, like someone who can't be trusted with their stories, and plenty of other things.
What's the likelihood you can ring Fred to come on sometime? Yeah, very, very low. Do you know any locals that would help him connect to Wi-Fi? That would be so amazing. I was hoping to get them to, take him out to eat.
Well, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you? You took Dawn and Candace out to eat, and you came home, and you had nothing but nice things to say about them. And that changed very quickly once your live chat decided to, I don't know, give you hell for it because they think they're guilty. Innocent until proven guilty, Ziggy. For your husband, that's for the Wells, that's for Andy, that's for anyone. Get it through your head.
Man, it dang complicated, you know.
So I think this is going to be a series about Fred Hill and his inconsistencies. I don't want to say they're lies, but some of them have turned out to be lies. But mostly, yeah, a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of added things that are completely crazy. Like, for example, the Rose Bly situation. He swore up and down that he knew Rose Bly and had seen her there. Here's another example of something that Laura said, and I know that's not what Fred said, but they usually agreed with one another back then. So let's just listen to this clip really quick, and I'm going to decide where this video is going to go from here.
So please tell me what I've done to you, Molly, because I've wronged you so much. Bitch, sit the down. You are such a fucking liar.
Oops. Oh, geez. My bad. Sorry. Wrong Laura. My bad. I should take that out, but I won't because it's kind of funny. Anyway, let's listen to the other Laura, and that is Fred's ex, and let's hear what she has to say. And this is when her and Ziggy were, I believe, driving in the car, and Ziggy was going to get her some groceries or some things. I think. And this video is from Cursed with Curiosity, and we have a short clip from it, so thank you, Cursed, and your link will be in the description. Please, guys, go sub up.
Every time Fred tells the story, he don't do it.
It's the same thing.
It's the same.
Your destination is on the right.
I try to tell people that.
No. Every time Fred tells a story, that is not what happens. I mean, sure, sometimes that's what happens, but we have many examples of when Fred tells a story that details change. And I'm going to show you that in just a few minutes. Again, another example.
It's the same thing.
It's the same.
Your destination is on the right.
I try to tell people that.
And I told Fred, I said, man, I'm so tired. I know this makes me sound awful, but I get so tired of hearing about it over and over.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's nothing to you. I mean, I want to see them find her. Don't get me wrong.
Sorry, I'm stopping it again. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate that Cursed has put up the subtitles, because I know that you can't just run the random generated ones. They don't work. So I appreciate the time and effort that goes into that. I do it as well. And if you guys aren't subbed up to Cursed with Curiosity, please do. She's going to have multiple links in the description to the videos that are in this video and her channel. So please go sub up.
I don't mean.
Oh, I'm sure you
I
get.
feel like that's like part of my young, Because that little girl comes to my house a lot. She played with my kids a lot.
Okay, so I want you to remember that little girl came to my house a lot. She played with my kids a lot. And she's referring to Summer playing with her kids a lot. Is that even possible? I don't know. Let's listen again.
Because that little girl comes to my house a lot. She played with my kids a lot. Kids is a lot older, but my kids are like,
So your kids used to stay down there at,
oh no, they didn't ever go down there.
I mean, no, stay down there at Fred, or at your guys' place down there.
Well, if she's telling the truth, then perhaps their kids had some visitation, because we do know from public record that Laura and Fred unfortunately lost their children due to abuse and neglect. So there's that. But maybe they had visitation with a supervisor or something. I'm not sure. But anyway.
Yeah. Or, let's see.
Oh, yeah. Our kids used to be with us.
Yeah.
We had our kids up until fucking.
Yeah, up until when?
Well, based on public record, they had lost their children when they were living in Virginia. And it's a very sad situation. It's a very sad file to read. Yeah, trigger warning on that.
Well, if it was, well, she's only, well, then that would mean that your kids just play with the boys then, right? Not her, because.
But my kids just played with, but they come down on visitation.
So she said, my kids played with, and she didn't finish her sentence. And then she said, they'd come down on vacations and stuff. She either said vacations or visitations. I couldn't quite make it out. So I think even Ziggy clearly figured it out. Her kids didn't play with Summer. I don't even know if they played with the boys. I mean, there's no way to know, but it did seem a little fabricated, and it's sad. But why do people want to put themselves in a situation where, oh yeah, Summer was a huge part of my life? And I know Fred has gone back and forth on that too. There's been discrepancies there. And we know that both Fred and Laura lied about going to the scrapper that day. Why would they do that? What is the point? It doesn't make sense. I have that clip and I will try to get it into this video if I can. And if not, it'll be in the next one. I just think you should believe nothing, really, at this point. Believe law enforcement. That's it. Don't believe me. Don't believe what you hear on here, these clips. Believe nothing but what law enforcement is telling you. And those are just my thoughts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't understand much at the end there, but I think Ziggy kind of busted her out a little bit there. Lies, lies. More lies, fabrications, living in a dream world. I don't know. It makes me sad, to be honest. It makes me sad. Why is Summer's name always being used by so many people? It's sad. So I do want to get into a couple other things in this video or in this series, depending on how long this video is, but I think I do want to talk about the wiring. How Fred said he was wired by TBI, and then it was changed to Hawkins County, and it was also deleted at one point, and then, ooh, it was miraculously returned. I don't know. I think it's nuts, but let's listen to a few clips regarding that. And then we'll probably end up having to do more on part 2. I would like to talk about the lie detector and cotton and a few things like that as well. So for now, I don't know. Let's just start with this video. Well, we've got some Gavel Geeks and we've got some Walk Your Talk. So I will show you those videos and links, and they'll both be in the description. But first...
Hey man, it's 911. I ain't here, don't make no mark, man. You don't need booze, man. It's a fire day. And it don't, that gun, that comes out everywhere, man. I don't know, saw any man would run out there. I don't know if he did check me and Johnny gonna come down here.
Sir, you are going to have to speak more slowly. I cannot understand you.
I tell you what, man, and them Y2K, man, and them mainframes gonna come crashing down on that grid, man. That look like a damn apocalypse now, man.
Let's do it.
One of the things that, so you'll find this, that if any question is asked to Fred about, do you know anything about, say, wooden barrels? Yeah, they're up at Jody Sue and Andy's. Everything, the answer is Jody Sue and Andy. Everything you ask. There are no wooden barrels up there. There weren't wooden barrels up there when we were there November of 2022. I was the only one that was up there, but there were no wooden barrels there. So it's not like they just got rid of them real quick. They're just not there.
So I do have a memory of there being some sort of oil barrels. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone is welcome to. I think that Andy did speak on those barrels and that he did get them from work and that he was able to resell them or something. So that is a memory that I have of listening to Andy, and I'm pretty sure it's true. I think I'm right, but let me know if I'm not. I could be wrong, but yeah, not a wooden barrel. You wouldn't put oil in a wooden barrel, in my opinion, I guess. I don't think. And from my recollection, people, Fred, were running with this wooden barrel thing because of some psychics that came out. So yeah. Let's listen. I think they talk more about that.
If you're like, oh, I see one. I saw one in the footage of Ryan's. No, you didn't. You didn't.
What do the wooden barrels matter anyway? I mean,
it was a psychic.
Yep, those psychics, they sure cause a lot of problems in cases. And I do know it was Reverend Donna Serafina who brought up the barrels. And then, of course, there was another lady, Sarah something, who, of course, Ziggy got involved with and was hanging out with in her chat and talking to her. And yeah, they brought up a barrel too. I think it was red. I could be wrong. Anyway, yeah, that's where the barrels came from. That's where they originated. It was from psychics, internet psychics who, so far, haven't been right. Not that we know of, anyway. I wonder if Fred watches these psychics on YouTube. I mean, we know he definitely watches YouTube, and, well, never mind. I do think that you bonk psychics need to take a hike, because you hurt cases as well, just as much as Ziggy and her stupid rods and cards. And I know, it's a whole nother video, but many of these psychics and mediums and card readers and dowsing rods and whatever else, spirit boxes also. Yes, many of you are hurting cases, you're hurting families, and you're hurting these missing kids, and it's very sad.
Oh my goodness.
And another psychic said something about somebody that chews on toothpicks. And Fred said, that's Andy's dad who chews on toothpicks. He's like, Andy, does your dad chew toothpicks? He said, no, never.
Why are you, why are you doing
Why?
psychics now? God, bless her.
Because that's all getting blended in, and Fred is validating some of the things that the psychic is saying. And Ryan also debunked some things Fred said. He had him going out there to search at Laurel Run Park. And Ryan just went ahead and talked to Cotton Simpson's family, who gave a different story than Fred did about how he passed away. So I don't know about that either. The excuse was that Ryan was talking to the wrong family members.
And it sucks. It's all hearsay. Every single word is hearsay. And people getting involved with families, and it bothers me. It bothers me a lot. We shouldn't be reaching out to families of missing children. Their parents, their sisters, cousins, brothers, neighbors, aunts, uncles. It's just not for me. I don't like that. I don't talk. I kind of understand wanting to prove things and get the truth out there. But can we really trust anyone at this point? It sure doesn't feel like it.
I don't know. But it's a lot. And there's always an excuse. There's always a reason that it should be okay, that this false information is out there. And there's just not. None of this is okay. What's your guys' favorite thing? I know Nana might have a couple.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. Let's get started with some of our favorite Fred said moments. And no, they're not my favorite, but I understand what they're saying here. Like, what is the most ridiculous thing that you think Fred has said thus far? Let's listen and find out, and it will turn into something here.
Ooh, I have one. Yeah. It's the entire circumstances surrounding the polygraph and the statements that he made about it when he was in jail. I think about it a lot.
It's true.
Yeah, he refused to calibrate the equipment is essentially where I stop. Like, because nothing after that, I mean, sure, you can look at the data, you can look at all of the biometric signals that you get and say, this is probably this is probably that based on your experience as a polygrapher. But each person is a little bit different, especially things like EEG readings are going to be different from person to person, depending on what kind of medications they're on. All kinds of things can affect those. Well, that's part of how you're reading the information to interpret it. And if someone refuses to establish the baseline in a polygraph by saying, my name is Clark Kent, or your name's Clark Kent, is that true?
Oh, I cannot resist playing this in this moment. Sorry, interruption. Superman, Clark Kent. Those who know, they know, and it's from one of my previous videos, just for fun. All right, let's keep going.
He said he wouldn't lie at all, so he wouldn't establish a baseline. So then everything is just junk, and that's why they couldn't form a conclusion about the results.
So I think we'll go back to the lie detector stuff in the next video, but for now, let's just have a little palate cleanser, and then we're going to move on to some more Fred said, of course.
This is a silly question, but people want to know because they're getting you items for when you go to rehab. They said boxers or briefs? Boxers, he said, guys. Fred said, Fred said, get real. Fred says, I don't get mad over things people say. So Fred said he thought that, yeah, that's how Fred said it too, like wearing a wire because, but Fred said, get real.
All right, let's listen to another video, and this is by Walk Your Talk, and this is to show the difference between two stories that Fred has said, and I think it's important. 622, here we go. Oh, and sorry, one more thing. I just wanted to show my appreciation, again, for the subtitles. You guys are going to have subtitles to read. I know it can be hard to understand Fred at times due to his accent and stuff, and also the bad recording quality. So thank you. Thank you guys so much for showing the subtitles. Walk Your Talk did it. Curse has done it. I've done it. I know Lippy's done it. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I know it's not easy. It takes time. So thank you. Here we go.
I talk and down stuff there, and I want to say this over the last is lashing my lights out loud, just real loud. And then when it was like, when to be honest with you, they said it's going to be what was in the voice, it's like thing. It's like their joke was on, I don't know what it was. I mean, they can't even figure out why everything we had on there And when that light comes up like that, I leave out like it's my phone, you know. I just out loud, just, I mean, crazy, you know. It's a chill from my phone.
Oh my God.
John's trying to look at me, and I had my phone in my hand, situation from home, you know. And then we talked to my niece, and I met up with him like this, and we was going to go over some stuff, and they didn't know what was on there. They didn't like such a thing, and they didn't know what they had to put up. I could erase anything off of it, you see. And he just didn't, some place like that, and nothing else.
But could they hear you guys while you were?
They can't figure out how you go like something like that. Life, they even heard life, you know.
So they were listening while you were over there.
Crazy.
So if you would have like attacked you, they would have known or something.
It's somebody that's done it real high tech and like I mean know what they're really doing, you know, to be able to do something that advanced in technology like that, you know what I mean? To be able to break the code and shut down.
And then, but they were able to hear your conversation still, though, right? That they just didn't get recorded. Did you guys?
We done had so much recorded on it prior to that, you see, and then some done recorded onto something else. But once that iPhone over, it just wiped everything we had, even up to that date and everything. Like green, just like that device was just a clean slate.
So this is from a channel called Walk Your Talk, as I mentioned, and it's called Was It Hawkins County or Was It TBI, Fred Hill? And this video needs more views, so please do go over there, check out that channel, subscribe, and give some views, because these videos are important and not enough people are seeing them. And you clearly heard him say TBI.
It's probably 15 hours of...
Okay, so this clip is from when Fred and Andy both were on Ziggy's panel at the same time, March 2024, so not quite that long ago. Anyway, let's listen. I'm sure we'll hear something important.
I mean, I even hooked Laura up at the gas station before for y'all. I mean, why do you want to bring my business out here like that? I had nothing to do with Summer, bro. There was people running that holler all hours of the night, and they weren't coming to my house.
Burn. I mean, that's true. Look at the one who's got the arrest records for the math. There's that.
I mean, I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be civilized, mannerable, everything with every one of y'all. But you're trying to tell me for 3 years now, if I was on that road on the 15th line to the police, you know damn good and well that they'd come snatch me up or something. I mean, they snatched you up. They got you for something you didn't do in 21, did you? Was in charges from 21, Fred?
Well, I think he did do it, if we're talking about the boots.
Into 21 now. Yeah.
Okay. If I had been, if they wanted me, don't you think they'd come got me on some weed charges? They'd come got me on something.
They weren't worried about that.
Okay, if they're not worried about that, bro, why are you persecuting me for 3 years? Because you say I was on the road. I'm saying I wasn't on the road. Why can't we move forward? Did you try to help find Summer instead of everything else? Andy was not on
It keeps coming back to you in Knoxville and stuff. Like, you keep coming up as a problem. Like, I don't think they're so into you because they're
5 seconds. Okay, look, please, 5 seconds, bro. Let me get 5 seconds, please.
Go ahead. Oh, he's going outside. I thought he needed 5 seconds to talk. Fred, do you know somebody named, okay, who placed the wire? FBI or local narcotics? What time and what date, Fred?
All right, here we go. So we know he first said it was TBI, and he talked about what TBI did and how it got deleted and all that stuff. So let's listen and find out what he says now.
Fred, do you know somebody named, okay, who placed the wire? FBI or local narcotics? What time and what date, Fred? Who placed the wire, or the wire? Who, like, had you, like, what agency?
Hawkins County.
Hawkins County, how'd you do it? What day and time?
Well, it was on the 15th around 8:30.
Okay, so we have a discrepancy here. And also, come on, ridiculous. So within two and a half hours, actually less than that, you've been wired up, Fred. Like, they go to you. Come on. I smell bullshit again. More bullshit. Come on. This seems crazy to me. It's just me, though, and my opinion on my channel. What else could I do but share the clips with you, and you decide for yourself.
So 8:30, and then that's when you walked right down. Then you walked right down there, right? And then that's when you got these conversations.
Yeah, I got there probably 8:45 or so.
Come on. This has got to be a joke to some of you. Seriously. Do you not see it? He literally said it was TBI. Let's review that quickly, very quickly.
First, when I took my hand for TBI, and was taking so long. I was talking down the stuff there, and I don't want to take this over the device. I don't want to take this over the device. He just got to my life that loud, just real loud. And then when he goes like, me and TBI said, they said it's review what was recorded into my phone. It's like the joke was on his own.
And then he literally changed it to Hawkins County after. And it wasn't deleted. Like, what? Come on. Do you not smell a bunch of bullshit? I know I do. Also, more recently, someone asked him, Ziggy, I think, and he did say that it was Hawkins County Special Tactic Unit, or Special Tactics Unit. Does Hawkins County have a Special Tactics Unit? I mean, maybe they do. I don't know what's true. Which one is true? The first thing, the second thing, the third thing? No idea. All right, well, that was from Walk Your Talk, and the link will be in the description. Now we're going back over to Gavel Geeks, and it's the snake oil, so let's review some of that.
Ooh, I have one. Yeah. It's the entire circumstances surrounding the polygraph and the statements that he made about it when he was in jail. I think about it a lot.
It's true.
Yeah, he refused to calibrate the equipment is essentially where I stop. Because nothing after that, I mean, sure, you can look at the data, you can look at all of the biometric signals that you get and say, this is probably this is probably that, based on your experience as a polygrapher. But each person is a little bit different, especially things like EEG readings are going to be different from person to person, depending on what kind of medications they're on. All kinds of things can affect those. Well, that's part of how you're reading the information to interpret it. And if someone refuses to establish the baseline in a polygraph by saying, my name is Clark Kent, or your name's Clark Kent, is that true? He said he wouldn't lie at all. So he wouldn't establish a baseline. So then everything is just junk, and that's why they couldn't form a conclusion about the results.
Fred says, I don't get mad over things people say, but when the real truth comes out, most people are going to look so stupid. I'm telling you, I know. But I think that a lot of people don't take Fred seriously because he's not so outspoken. You know what I mean? And so argumentative and stuff,
Oh, okay. That's what it is. Oh, okay, I get it. No, sure.
But I've noticed with Fred, he just says what he means what he says. He doesn't repeat himself. Fred said he refused to lie even on the baseline because he said he won't lie for anybody.
Lie detector determined that was a lie.
Asked him to lie for a baseline, and he said that he would not lie for them or for anybody. So I don't know what I was like. I just said, "LOL." I didn't think he was being actually serious.
Oh no, of course not. Of course not.
So maybe, and then because I just saw somebody's text that said maybe he didn't lie on the baseline questions. Well, according to Fred said he refused to lie even on the baseline because he said he won't lie for anybody. And I just truly believe him. That's just the truth because my own research, everything that I put together, and everything that keeps pointing towards certain ones. It's not that I'm just defending Fred blindly, and that's what people want to think, but it is what it is. You say that. You keep saying that he lied. You keep saying that, but you don't freaking tell us anything you lied about. You tell us about Cotton, his opinion on Cotton's voice in a recording, if it was Cotton or not. You said it was a lie because Fred said that he thought that was Cotton. That was your lie that you came up with. That's a lie. Everything was accidentally erased on the recording device. So Fred said he thought that there was something that I think they were able to recover most of it or something. I think when Ziggy said wore a wire, some folks took it literally. And yeah, that's how Fred says it too, wearing a wire, but that's why I asked him specifically. I'm like, so when you say wearing a wire, what do you mean? Did they actually suit you up with, wires and cameras or what? He's like, no, it's just a regular recording device. Fred said he only needed $2,500 to get out. I don't know.
All right, well, that was a lot, and I do want to go over a lot more. I want to go over Andy on the road. I'd like to go over more about the lie detector and Cotton, and I know I would like to review more of Gavel's video, the snake oil video. It's so long, so hopefully we can kind of condense it down to something a little easier for Ziggy to pay attention to, because she seems to think it's too long to listen to. So there's that. Maybe we can give her a good reason to pay attention and realize that, yeah, there's a lot of lies, and she's included in those lies. All right, so I was going to end this here, but I think it's important that we address Andy in the road a little bit more here. Ziggy, you and Fred are absolutely ridiculous. It's uncalled for. It's disgusting. You have slandered more people than I can even count. There should be a Ziggy slandered me support group at this point. You have literally no proof that Andy was in the road that day. All you have is what Fred said. However, we have things that kind of prove that Andy probably wasn't in the road that day. I mean, is it proof? Foolproof proof? No, not necessarily, but it's a whole hell of a lot more evidence than you've shown. You haven't shown anything. You have Fred said's word, and that's it. We've got Andy's word. We have a phone call to his boss, actually 2 of them technically, but only one was recorded and put on YouTube. Ryan spoke to Andy's boss or his boss's son, one or the other, and was also told that Andy was at work all day and didn't leave and wouldn't have had time to leave. So there's that. And then we also have texts from Jody Sue that prove conversation of when he left from work and things of that nature. You can go to Jody's channel to check that out. I'm not going to put that in here because I don't exactly know where they are at this point, but we are going to listen to a few recordings. And we also have Andy's recording where he phoned Detective Pruitt himself, and they weren't worried about him, but they did have something to say about Fred. So let's go through some of the proof, or at least whatever you want to call it. It's more proof than Ziggy and Fred have, that's for darn sure, because they have none. So first, we're going to listen to Ziggy having a little cray-cray moment. Let's do that first. And this is from Lippy Clips again, and I will put that link for you in the description as well. It is a really, really great video, and I may play some of it in part 2, but you guys should go watch the whole entire thing. Link will be in the description.
I've seen her around plenty of times, you know already that we absolutely believe and know Andy's involved. Allegedly, in our opinion. I just have to say it like that. I'm to the point, like, I'm about to go just, like, all in and bet the house on it, which I don't have a house yet. Bet the farm. Come on. Come on. Come on. I would bet my life on it that Andy's involved. Seriously, I would bet my life. May I be struck dead if he's not involved. May I please be struck dead if Andy Bernard is not involved in Summerwell's disappearance or has some kind of knowledge.
Wow, Ziggy, you're absolutely insane. You have no proof, and you're going on stories by Fred Said, who was on meth for a very long time. And he was on it around that time, and God knows what else he was on at that time. You are insane, in my opinion. And you just refuse to listen to reason. And that, my friends, that is concerning. That, amongst many other things with that girl. The decision-making abilities, the delusions, and so much more.
Please strike me dead now if he is not involved. That's how confident I am. Oh, it is her parents too, Tangy.
Oh, of course it is. I mean, it's everybody, right? It's Jody Sue, it's Andy, it's Dawn, Candace, Grandma. I mean, who else have you accused? Cotton? Who else is Fred accused? I mean, there's more. There's a lot more, and this is not normal, Ziggy. You do this for money, and you're insane. And that's just my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. All right, next we're going to listen to the other Adrian's phone call to Andy's boss. So here's that.
Oh, okay. My name is Adrian. I have a YouTube channel that's been covering the Summer Wells case. I've been talking to Andy Bernard quite a bit over the last several months, and he told me he was working for you when Summer Wells went missing. I know the TBI has probably talked to you, but I just wanted to confirm that Andy was at work on June 15th, 2021, if you can tell me that, and see if you remember what time he got there and what time he left that day.
So again, this is one of at least 2 people who have talked to Andy's boss's son, and TBI obviously has spoken to them as well. So Ziggy, pay attention. Come on. What you're saying doesn't make sense. You have no proof, and Andy actually does kind of have some proof. So why you continue with this, I don't know, but you're looking kind of stupid. And you just putting the blame on people so easily, that's so dangerous. Do you have any idea how dangerous it is to do that to a human? Multiple humans. You lie on people constantly. Stop it.
I know. It's been a while, and I know you're probably sick of it.
I think we went through the best I can remember. I'm almost positive he was here that day. I don't remember what time he got here, what time he left, anything like that.
Okay. What time do your guys normally leave that, like, whenever they're done?
Yeah, generally it's about 36 o'clock.
Okay. All right. And then, do you remember if do you guys have cameras at your place?
We do.
Okay. So he would have been seen on camera if he was there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Now, obviously, my cameras don't go back 2 years.
Right. And then, the TBI probably came for that stuff, or did they talk to you guys or whatever?
I know they came up here, but I'll be honest, I really don't remember if we pulled up video or...
Okay.
I know they came up here and talked to him.
Okay.
I don't know if they ever... Gosh, I know, I'm sorry, I'm not a lot of help.
No, that's okay.
I have no doubt that TBI has made sure that Andy was indeed at work.
I really don't remember, honestly.
That's okay. I've been talking to Andy quite a bit over the last couple months because of he's been pulled into this because of his ex-girlfriend, and because of just everybody has been because of the social media stuff. So I was just trying to clear it up for him, because I know he said he's stuck by that he was at work all day and left work about
Best I can remember he was, and I do think at some point we did go back and visit that and look and stuff. And
Okay.
I swear the best I can remember he was that day. I know he was here that day all day. I'm pretty sure, but I just really don't remember the specifics of it being this long.
Okay. So
I know they came up here and talked to him, but I don't remember if they said anything to us or not. Yeah, they definitely didn't make a big deal about it if they did. But
Okay.
I feel like I remember it. So.
okay. Well, that confirms what he's been saying. So.
Now let's listen to Andy's call to Detective Pruitt. He took it upon himself to phone because of all of these accusations, which seem pretty much unfounded in my opinion. And again, we can only go based on what we have to look at as so-called evidence. We have Ellie doing their jobs, I'm sure, and we have these phone calls. We have Andy's word, and then we have Fred's word, and then we have Ziggy, who's going off of Fred's word, and nothing else. So I'm going to save some more things for part 2. I'm going to play part of Andy's phone call, and I'm going to give you the link to go watch the full phone call on his channel. So I will play you some relevant parts on the way out here, and we'll go from there, and I'll see you for part 2. But don't leave yet. This is not the end. There is more to come. Let's just listen, and I'll see you soon. Toodles!
Detective Pruitt.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right.
Unless concrete leads come up that we can sort of verify the direction it's headed, we're just accepting concrete leads, and your name has not come up.
Okay.
Well, that, and I wouldn't put too much faith in what Fred Hill is saying.
Well, I kind of knew that for the rip.
But like I said, your name is not relevant to the investigation, so you don't have anything to be concerned about.
Okay, I greatly appreciate that. That eases my mind a lot, and I greatly appreciate you, sir.
Have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you.
That, and I wouldn't put too much faith in what Fred Hill is saying.
Man, it dang complicated, you know, man.
All right. How's everybody doing? Waiting for them to get closer and closer, and then whack. One gets hit. And all of a sudden, when that happens, the person, like I said, loses their footing and the gun goes off. Bill Benton screams like a girl, hurries to take off, and wrecks his vehicle at the bottom of the driveway. The running boards, or whatever the things you step on, I guess, like broke off, and then the front bumper got all messed up and stuff. So I'd say that make it pretty distinguishable. So, well, you know, Fred goes back down there after these people take off. You can't tell if they're make anything out. It's completely pitch black. Doesn't know if it's women, men. Bill Benton's down there, still like stuck down there. Fred goes up to him and be like, "What the fuck? I ought to knock you, hit you just like I just did that, whoever that was. Like, I thought you had my back. I thought you were, big and bad." And they get into it, actually, because Fred's starting to wonder, did Bill set him up? It seemed it was so weird. All this time, Fred's thought it was some type of, somebody trying to rob him for drugs or something. But then we hear about them talk about their incident and describe this man and everything, and how scary he is, and how, he just came down from Fred's. Oh yeah, I just had to add that in. You had to be Fred's buddy, right? You couldn't have possibly sent him down there to try to distract Fred, could you have? Then Fred tells me, I'm just doing a little bit of refreshers for those who haven't heard this. Then Fred tells me that he had heard, this was when I went and visited him, January of 2023. So it would have been just a couple months after the incident, November of 2022. Remember, Jim passed away October of 2022, and I was not really, before he passed away, I was really focused on, because they were acting so shady, but he passed away, and then I just kind of did not care anymore. And, they went off to Tennessee, and I didn't pay much attention to it and didn't really care. And then January comes along, I go to Fred's, and he tells me about how there was that attempted robbery. And then also, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, how the police were called at a party that the Wells were having
with the incident with Bill Benton. Something to do with some kind of incident that happened with Bill Benton. So, you know, hearing all this stuff, like, light bulbs are going off in my head. Like, oh my God, this is all the same incident. These fucking idiots snuck up on Fred's property with freaking guns, allegedly. Somebody could have got killed. There's all evidence of Fred speaking of this stuff in interviews, in conversations, but really didn't think much of it because thought it was somebody who was attempting to rob him for drugs because of the attention from YouTube, you know, of Don making him seem like he was like this big time drug dealer. Well, I remember them all talking about some crazy incident that happened and how scary it was, but maybe we'll hear more around the time. I know, right, Rosemarie? That's what.
And Andy Bernard. If you've been following Summer's case as closely as I have, and you understand that the people surrounding Summer Wells in the vicinity of her house are pretty much all related. Yes, there are some new people who've moved in recent years, which has upset the locals, but, you know, the original Beach Creekers, they're all related in some way, shape or form. Andy Bernard, who used to live at 125 Ben Hill Road, which is directly across from Summer's house, which of course is 110 Ben Hill Road. He was the long-term partner, boyfriend, whatever, of Jodie Sue Brown. Jodie Sue has had a lot to say about the Summer Wells case. Then we've got further down Ben Hill Road, 165, 167, and then 209, is it? Or 207? I never remember that number. Anyway, those are the properties that were owned by Fred Hill's family. Fred Hill is the cousin of Andy Bernard. They have common ancestor, Ben Hill, who the road is named after. Fred Hill is Ben Hill's grandson. Andy Bernard is Ben Hill's great-grandson, so it makes them cousins once removed, but they're not close, apparently. Both sides have said that, yeah, they knew each other, but they weren't, like, dead close growing up. Okay, all good. How does any of this relate to Summer Wells? Well, there's been an ongoing, let's say, debate between the two cousins. Was Andy on the road the day that Summer disappeared? What does it matter? It matters if Andy lied. Now, I don't know who's telling the truth. I wasn't there. Neither were you. If you were, well, I hope you've told TBI all you saw. But for a long time now, Fred Hill has been saying that Andy turned up, maybe with a couple of other vehicles, between 3:30 and 3:45. And they went right down to the bottom of the hollow. Fred Hill had to move for them because he was loading up cars to take them to the Crusher, the Scrappy, in Kingsport. Okay, and he had to move for these vehicles coming through, and he knew it was Andy. That's what Fred Hill has said. It's one of the consistent things that Fred Hill has said. Because one of the problems with Fred Hill is that he's told so many stories. He said things that absolutely cannot be true. Like Rose Bly used to live at 110 and was a prostitute working out of 110. Look, these things that Fred Hill has said cannot possibly be true. But the question then becomes, well, did Fred Hill believe it? So it's his truth. It just doesn't happen to be factually accurate. I don't know. Fred Hill has even told different versions of where he was that day. First of all, he said that around 3:30ish they left. I don't remember the exact time, maybe 3:30ish or something to coincide with Andy coming in. They were loading cars onto a trailer to take them to the Scrappy in Kingsport. But then he's since said he didn't take anything to the Scrappy. He's since said, oh, they went out, they went to the store, they were gone, the time that Summer would have disappeared, and then they came back and everything was all in an uproar. Like there was cops everywhere. But they didn't go to the scrappy. The inconsistent stories that Fred Hill has told really do worry me. They make it look like Freddie's hiding something, even if he isn't. The truth is the truth, and it doesn't change. You might remember things that you've forgotten. You might add some stuff. You might say, oh no, was that day or was that a different day? You might be a little bit confused, but Fred Hill is absolutely adamant. So much so that Ziggy, who married Fred Hill back in May of this year, I think it was, has wrote to the TBI, that concerned that they're not taking it seriously that Andy was on the road that day. If he was on the road that day, what does it matter? He can drive up and down that road as many times as he wants. It was a public road. Fred's argument is that it does matter because he lied. So it's the lie that's the problem. He lied to the TBI. He lied to Hawkins County. He's lied to social media. It doesn't matter what he tells social media as long as he told the truth to the TBI. Fred's argument is, why would he lie? Well, this is what Andy had to say about the issue.
I was at work. The TBI has been to my work and seen me on camera at work all day.
Okay, so, I mean, but you were spotted on that road, bro, at a kind of a tricky time, dude.
And so you're going to take words of a meth head that's goddamn flagged the fuck out since he shot old boy in the goddamn neck a couple years ago?
Who shot who in the neck?
Well, your confident informant, Fred, said he beat me on the goddamn road.
Oh, Fred was the one that did the shooting?
I mean, how the goddamn fuck you? I mean, y'all fucking sit on the internet and look shit up.
Jodie Sue, Andy's then partner, had a lot to say about the timeline. For her timeline to be in any way truthful or accurate, has to have Andy being at work and working late. And this is what she said about the time, the 4:30 to 4:42 time when she heard the scream that she was texting Andy. She worked out the time from the texts.
Somewhere between 4:30 and 4:42, the children and I were sitting there being pretty loud, laughing, carrying on. I mean, and when I say loud, we're pretty loud. However, the cabin was quiet, TV running, no air, no fans. And this scream happens. And what I thought was, okay, well, we heard the car door, right? The one. And even though by this point, the woodcutter's been gone for hours, should not have been there, in my head, trying to dismiss this, I was like, okay, so one of Candace's dogs has gotten too close to where a woodcutter was, and they've kicked it. But I knew the sound was wrong for a dog. And I knew it didn't make sense because there'd be no reason there'd be a straggler in there that long. I've heard every noise you can imagine out of those three. And they go down further than Summer, and they do ride their dirt bikes back and forth and things like that. And they go in places that Summer really doesn't. But this wasn't their noises. But that's what hit me, right? That's not the boys, and that's what I said. And it never really occurred to me, Summer. And the reason is because Summer doesn't play down far enough to really hear. You hear sometimes when she's high on the bank, or, one of the boys are picking, or she's picking, or she's, but not a whole lot do you hear Summer. And this was a pretty quick series of events. It was what is that? That's the kids. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. And she gets to the door first, and she goes, I can still hear it. It's one of the kids. And she was like, it's going, it's muffled. Those were her exact words. That day, she was like, I can still hear it.
And then at 6:09, when she had the last communication with Andy before he set off.
At one point near 6, and I believe on the phone at 6:09, I'm going around the top curve roadway to start the descent down. By this point, I'm hearing, hold on.
Now, he worked in Kingsport, so it's about, 25 minutes, which would put Andy coming in, like 25 to 7, 20 to 7, quarter to 7 even, if he stopped off somewhere. He said he stopped off for a drink, I think. And he came in around the same time as Don Wells. Now, Don Wells was working in Jonesboro. He would have set off around 6:25, something like that, when he knew that Summer was missing. And he said he put his foot down and he went full throttle all the way home. Jonesboro was about 45 minutes away, and he arrived as the first cops were showing up.
So what time did you get there? Do you remember?
Well, they say, it's really strange because I thought it was 5:30, but the 911 call says 6:30, 6:26 is when the first call come in. And that could well be. Sometimes I work till sunset, And I went down the hill by the creek in that little four-wheel drive Subaru. I went straight down there to the creek, and I seen the boys down there, and they know not to travel alone. It was together, and I see my neighbor walking around, and I knew my heart just sank right there. I just knew it that somebody took her, because she just don't go nowhere. But she would never leave from up at the burn the house there. No way.
Yeah, I mean, what about the boys? What were they doing when you saw them down there by the shed?
They weren't by the shed. They was down if you look down where the power lines are.
You can see where the tree service has cleared all this out, all the way, both ways for power lines. Okay, all the way up to that house up there.
You go straight down, they were looking, walking around looking for Summer. And I just knew she was gone.
If Andy wasn't at work and Fred Hill saw him, that puts Don's recollection of events out of whack. It also puts Jody Sue's recollection of events out of whack. But you might say, well, they're all lying. Ziggy thinks that Andy and Don are in it together, and Summer has been taken because of some drug debt. Now, that's not as wild as it sounds, because apparently the TBI, according to Don, questioned him about drugs and drug debts and why he went to Knoxville and all the rest of it, thinking that Summer's disappearance was something to do with drugs. So it's not as wild as it sounds. But Andy swears down left and right that he was at work on camera, and that the cops know he was at work on camera until he left at 6:09ish. So who's telling the truth? Now, I've always said that maybe Fred, it's his truth, but he's misremembering. And actually, he met Andy on the road on the 14th. Fred is saying now that he didn't go out at all on the 14th. He was asleep all day on the 14th, so it couldn't have been the 14th. The thing that makes me think it was the 14th is that Andy came home early on the 14th because of the Jackie Dobbs situation. This is what Jody Sue said about that.
Oh, and you won't believe this. While we're searching for Summer, we go down to the other property. Well, actually, not before, when the weirdo was on our property that bought that piece in the yard that's the crust of the bank, and then was arguing against his own survey that he bought a crust of a bank and a vertical cliff, but nobody provided him with that survey. He was sitting on our property, cut through our lines and stuff, whatever, and he parked himself right in the middle of the first two no trespassing signs, and had already been told, whatever. Anyway, the cops removed him that night. So we were so worried about this guy and how he came off that we went looking that night all the way into Bayless and then every holler in Beach Creek, making sure he wasn't parked in there. And look, this guy hit me so weird, I was like, So, there's extra there I'll get to in a few months. But anyway, so we go looking at our other properties, right, Evelyn? And get down there, and the guy who purchased yours has now got a gate up over the county road. Not just back where your all's gate is, but over the fucking county road. And as I guess decided he's just going to try to block it off till he can do it long enough to get adverse. I guess we're two properties in this week.
I've seen his house. It's ugly.
See, take it from the kid. This guy has done.
It's cobalt blue.
No, that's the wrong house.
Oh, wrong
we're talking about the one at Virginia Edwards. But anyway, this guy's put up a damn gate across the county road and locked us out of our driveway that connects with your house. So I don't know what we're going to do about that, but it's going to be a couple weeks down the road before we figure that out with this other property situation. This guy's getting ready to start fighting us over like an idiot and lose. So anyway, just thought you'd enjoy that hilarity. It didn't matter. We climbed his fences and went over and got our stuff anyway and searched for Summer and did what we needed to do so he can bite me. And I hope he enjoys that on camera.
So Andy came home early to deal with Jackie Dobbs, and then they chased him off. It makes sense that Fred saw Andy on the 14th. But he swears down left and right that he didn't. Now, is Fred going to come along at a later date and change his story? Look, there's things that make me suspicious of Andy. Jody Sue, she says some horrible things that are really incriminating, and then she walks them back.
And I guarantee you, honestly, when Summer disappeared, that's the reason he got so fucking crazy. Even more think about the past few days. It's probably because when the Fed showed up, especially at work, he'd been lying to me, because that day she disappeared, he was supposed to be running late, right? Working over. Guarantee he wasn't. So he knew, tick, 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 time was coming, cops knew he wasn't, whatever. And he was next door, and truth coming. I mean, all kinds of things stripped out his shit, but I promise you for months. And what's weird is, like, he was abusing me that psychotically during the day, but then he was even acting weird for me. Like, at night, for those last few nights, it was, will you hold me? And I told him I'd never really heard before. I want me to hold him after fucking doing me that way every day. And weird, like, baby, don't, like, man, this ain't done. If his fucking system thinks this is done, you let me know. I've been telling you. I've been fucking telling you. Y'all look over there and ask why exactly it is he was selling drugs to the children at 110. why he was potentially causing little girls over there to be sedated and to be touched.
Story. That concerns me. We don't even know what time Summer actually went missing, because Candice said, oh, she was looking for Summer at the time of the scream, and that's why she didn't hear it. Well, if the scream was at 4:30 to 4:42, Summer was missing almost 2 hours before they called the cops.
So whoever took her had to actually come up into the yard and take her, and I don't understand, because, like, my neighbor heard her scream, but I didn't hear her scream because I was in the house with the boys trying to find her, and I guess when my neighbor heard her scream, I was actually in the house and the TV was going, so I didn't even hear the scream.
Everybody, every single person who's spoken out on social media in some way, shape or form either doesn't make sense, is walking stuff back, is inconsistent. All of it is inconsistent. We don't even know what time Summer Wells went missing. I believe, personally, just my personal opinion, is that Candice doesn't know what time Summer went missing. Candice might have a better idea than what she's making out on social media. We don't know. But certainly, if Fred Hill is remembering accurately, and I'm really not sure he is, then Andy was there. And what was Andy doing there? Not that I believe he was. I do think, it's my personal opinion, that Fred is mistaken. No, Ziggy and Fred say that there's cameras on Ben Hill Road, so they know exactly who came in and out of the holler that day. The TBI might know absolutely what the truth is. They're just not telling us, because why should they? So we continue to have these little arguments and squabbles and... I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle.